better? Can you see me?
Yeah. You're on the iPhone?
I can't see. Go on.
You're on the iPhone?
Yeah, man. My screen is smashed.
Ah.
So I can like I put my screen, this one on, and I don't think you can see me very well. Can you?
You're a little bit washed out, but I can see you all right.
I mean, this way I can see you still. So yeah, if you're all right with this.
It's the light. The light behind you is washing you out. I think I'm gonna close my blinds as well.
Do you know what might be better actually? It might be better if I do it on my computer. What's the what is it for on the computer?
What is what?
You gave me a different program, the Zoom program,
Oh, just go to open up whatever your browser is and go to zoom.us. You might have to download something.
Modern technology, so cool.
Okay. I think I'm good on my end.
So hang on, if I go, and I just need to open up Discord in my I just need to open up Discord on the laptop, so I can take the link from the laptop. You know?
Yeah, the same link should work.
Take the plaster off the camera as well.
Yeah.
Anti-spy. So what's the plan? What do you want to talk to me about, dude?
I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. I don't ever have any plans.
The state of the world today.
Yeah, we can work that in. I want to hear music too.
Oh shit! Yeah, I said I was going to do music. Fuck! I'm sat in the cafe, mate. My guitar's in the car.
Well, just to let you know, you've been on this whole time, so.
I've been on your Snail Show this whole time.
Yes, you have. It's rough and ready, but there's no warnings on this show. You're just going.
Is it live?
It's not live, no, but I started recording already.
Let me see. Because if I go in on this as well, is it like a conference?
A conference?
More than one. If I've gone in, I've followed the link on the phone.
Oh.
Right. So if I go into Discord on the laptop and follow the same link.
Yeah, you should
still get in.
Yeah, you should close the phone one first because it will open up like 2 accounts, I think.
Oh, launch meeting. Save file.
I mean, maybe open up the one on the computer first to make sure it works, and then close out the phone one.
I just got to do the launch. But completely, it doesn't. I never think about the fact that my screen is smashed.
Your iPhone screen is smashed?
I never think about that. You know, because I don't do a lot of selfie stuff, and all those videos that I do in the car, I just turn the camera around. So I don't like looking at my face anyway on the screen.
No, the screen isn't affecting the video quality. Not really, I don't think.
No, it's all right.
Unless it's cracked over the actual. Is it front-facing camera you're using?
Yeah, it's the one on the screen. So it's the camera's cracked right over the screen.
I mean, it kind of makes for some cool effects, I think. You're refracting light.
Try and keep the light out of it.
It's not terrible if you want to just use the iPhone. Like it would be doable. Yeah.
Let's just carry on like this then, man.
Yeah.
Come in and ask me something. Ask me what I'm doing now.
You're blocking out the spies, I assume.
I'm what?
Blocking off your laptop camera.
No. Oh yeah, I could block that back off again. No, because I'm just gonna stay on the phone, don't I? But no. I meant ask what I'm doing now.
I don't know what you're doing.
You can't see it, can you? You can't see it because of this cracked screen.
No, I see. I see some tissue.
I'm in a cafe.
Yeah.
Here, let's call it a social club.
Okay.
It's a bit like Amsterdam.
Ah. So you're taking some magic mushrooms?
No. Just smoking some medicine.
Some herbs? Some herbs?
Yeah, for medicinal purposes.
Yeah. A lot of people
CBD.
do that here as well.
Yeah. It's weird how they've America, you've had it sort of legalized in various different states, and they've legalized. You can vaporize CBD in England now.
Oh yeah.
But it's all, you know, you're buying manufactured stuff, so you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah. Right.
I wanted to ask you about. You were talking about tripping out.
Mm-hmm.
What? Because I think one time I heard you speaking about it, and you were saying it wasn't through chemicals. It was, I don't know, natural or something. What? Explain more.
Well, I've never had a trip out experience until after that first weed, because my weed experience was what was super traumatizing for me. Would you mind turning the music down just a bit? It's a bit loud.
Oh, do you know what?
Oh, you can't. Never mind. I'm sorry. You're in a cafe.
Yeah, shit. Sorry, man.
No, can you hear me?
I'm here because the Wi-Fi at my place is really bad.
Ah.
Really, really bad. So.
Okay.
I've got the microphone here.
Can you hear me okay though?
I can hear you just fine, mate. I've got earphones on.
Okay. Yeah, I was asking for your sake because I can hear you fine.
If you can hear me, then that's cool, mate. I can hear you just fine.
Yeah. My first weed experience was like a psychedelic. It was a really bad trip, kind of psychedelic experience, and I thought it was laced after many years after it happened. After I was trying to integrate it, but I don't think it was, because there were 3 other people smoking it with me, and they had no ill side effects like I did.
When describe your side effects, because it's quite common the first time to flip out a little bit. It was really physical for me, and also it was just this massive bong, and I had never smoked weed before. I was like 21, 22. It'll knock your head off, mate.
Yeah.
It'll knock your head off. That's like drinking a quarter of whiskey, you know, when you're 8 years old.
Nobody really told me or warned me, and I was too stupid to figure it out myself. So, so anyway, I took two massive rips out of this giant, like 2-foot bong. You know, it was like this thick, and as soon as the effects started coming on, I tried to refuse it. I tried to like take it back or something. I was like, no, don't. I don't want it. Like, take it back. And of course, that didn't work. So then I just like plunged into this thing, and it was really tangibly physical for me in a bad way. It wasn't pleasant or enjoyable or any of these things like how people had described it to me.
Yeah.
And all of the physical motions, and along with hearing and even taste, drinking a glass of water, conversation, everything became connected in a bad, very negative way. It was like I was always one step behind the happening, but I couldn't. Yeah. Every thought, every movement to try to catch up to it, it eternally kept going away from me.
It's like you're in a bad dream sort of thing when you're trying to run and you can't run sort of thing.
But it was tangible and physical, and I was present. It wasn't like it wasn't like I was numb or something. It was very much viscerally bad, I guess.
Yeah.
And so all of these motions, like all of my motions of my hands and everything, everyone around me, it linked up, and in like a horrifying way. And I remember at one point during this experience, we were all sitting at a dinner table like this one. There was 4 of us, right? My then girlfriend and 2 other people.
Yeah.
And the conversation, it was like a marionette, or it was like a comedy show or something, because everybody like knew and predicted what everyone else was saying, at least in my mind. And it would go around and around, and like inside I was trying to struggle to do something about it or say something, but I couldn't. Like my struggle to do or say something about it was part of this nasty little merry-go-round that was happening, and it was just like entirely horrifying.
Dude, this sounds like a textbook whitey.
I don't know what it was, but it went on for a really, really, really long time. As far as internal time, externally it was only 2 hours, so it wasn't a long. Yeah. But to me, it felt like forever, and it progressively got more and more intense. And at one point, like it ramped up to the point where my heartbeat was going 1,000 miles a minute, and I thought, I had all this fear of death. I thought I was going to die, and of course that didn't happen. But I really thought I was going to, and then. It kind of culminated, at least in the severity of the trip, when all of the motions of my hands, like I reached over to touch my girlfriend, and I literally like merged into her. Like my consciousness became me and her at the same time, and then I think it went out, to the whole thing or something. It was too much for me. I couldn't stay there. Like I had to go off into dreamland or be numb or something. It was too much.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
Yeah. So like. And then after I came down from that high, then I was trying to look around, and I was like, I felt like the physical world had betrayed me, basically. Like, I thought this was supposed to stay put, and I thought I was supposed to stay in my body, and this, and the other thing. And I was like, man, you were just playing a joke on me this whole time. You're just messing around with me.
Yeah.
So that took me a really long time to integrate, to get over, to stop having panic attacks, because that experience was where they came from. It wasn't from any actual thing happening in my life. It was that exact experience.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I just had my girlfriend messaging me on Facebook, and she's all stressing out. So if I don't message her back straight away, it's one of those situations now in the relationship where if I don't instantly reply to her, it causes, she starts to get anxious and.
Yeah. Yep. That's how girls are, though. They want you to reply instantaneously. Otherwise, there's something very bad is happening for sure. I'm taking a girl's blouse off. Right.
I'm just about to do a Jello shot of some girl's nipple.
Yeah, right.
Or something. That's literally where her imagination goes to. And in actual fact, what am I doing? I'm sat here.
No, but you have evidence. You have evidence. You can just send her the link and be like, look, I was talking with this dude for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand it at all, man. She's freaked out by it all. And it's a bit of a shame because I'm trying to explain to her, right, everything that I've been saying in my videos and everything that I say to everybody, I've been saying for a long time to people around me, and it's only, I've only recently been doing the videos, but I've been saying it to her for as long as we've been together, and it goes into one ear and out the other with her, and I don't understand, NPCs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is she one of them?
I'm worried that she's one of them because if you've watched, you've watched Quantum of Conscience, haven't you? So
yeah.
Was that you did the response to him, didn't you, about NPCs?
Yeah, right. But I knew about that concept long before he talked about it.
Yeah, I know. It's just I think I remember seeing your response to it, so I know you know about it, right? So,
right.
Yeah, NPCs like Gary, Matt, I think his name is, isn't it? He did a really good video on it and said, if you think you're with an NPC, try and chuck something in there that's like totally outside of their programming to see what their response is. Because if you're not a fully programmed individual who's capable of, with your own free will and freedom of thought, you're capable of critical thinking, then when somebody introduces something new into your narrative, then you assimilate it, don't you? You try and, especially if it's valuable information, you try to assimilate it into your life, and your thinking from that moment on that encompasses that thing that you've learned. Right? But if you're an NPC, you malfunction a little bit and maybe twitch a bit. And, yeah, I know, but it's all, and then you go back to your original programming. You might even be able to step aside a little bit and look at what's being said, but it doesn't compute, and they revert back, and they come, and then the next day, when you see them the next day, or even like a couple of hours later, they can't even remember. It's like nothing's happened. Yeah. That conversation never took place. Right. You know?
Yeah, that's how it is.
That's what I'm experiencing. That's what I'm experiencing with her.
Right.
All the time, every day, same arguments.
Yeah, it's just programming. It's like if you had a recorded show and you went and watched the same show every single day. That's how they move through their day, and they can't really they can't take on too much new stuff because they're just not physically capable of integrating it.
Do you know, it's funny you should mention that, right? Because that's what I do. I hate TV, right? I can't watch television. I don't watch the programming. Excuse me, I don't watch the programming. But I watch the programs. I don't watch it when they tell me to watch it. I watch Family Guy and An American Dad and South Park and whatever. I like the cartoons because they're real, you know?
Yeah, I like them too. I don't watch too much now. But
cartoons are cartoons. They're not pretending to be anything else. They're being cartoons.
Right.
Cartoons can do anything. There's no rules. You know, if you remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Do you remember that film?
What's it called?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, are you old enough to remember that film?
I didn't have TV growing up.
How old are you, by the way?
32.
Out of interest.
Yeah.
32? Is that old?
Yeah. But I didn't, we didn't have TV in the house, so we weren't even exposed to TV at all until maybe like mid-teens, and then we didn't really watch it then either.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. So we didn't have the same indoctrination recipe as your average Joe.
I remember TV in my childhood, but of course it wasn't anything like it is now. The programming that they have now for kids, is unbelievable.
It's really mindless. Yeah,
it's mind numbing.
Right.
It's not just mindless, mind numbing, is it? It's introducing concepts that kids shouldn't necessarily be thinking about yet. You know?
Yeah, and also another issue is that parents are substituting the iPhone and the iPad as babysitters because the kids, they stop crying, if you hand them an iPad, and they're just like, mesmerized by it, and I don't think that's very healthy.
No, I remember the first time I saw it, and I thought, oh wow, that's brilliant! Isn't that brilliant? The kid's crying, give it an iPad, and it can sit there and watch videos and whatever. And it didn't really occur to me until the last couple of years, and I've been thinking, well, Steve Jobs won't give his kids. Not Steve Jobs. What's his name? Microsoft.
Bill Gates.
Won't let his kids use anything. Steve Jobs wouldn't let his kids have anything.
Right.
You know, it's like they know the dangers of their technology, and they keep their kids away from it for as long as possible.
Yeah, that in that last video I was talking about the likes and the thumbs up. That guy that I was referencing, he was like a former head of Facebook, and he doesn't let his kids go on them. Like if somebody who's heading these companies doesn't even let their child partake in the product that they're selling, that has to tell you something.
Absolutely, it has to tell you. It has to be like screaming it, really.
Right. Right.
Because surely you'd be like in the past, it always used to be if your dad was involved in something, it meant that you got access to that thing, and you got the next copy of it before anybody else, you know.
Right.
Your dad, if your dad was working on a new toy or whatever, then you got the toy before it came out in the shops.
Right. Right.
No, not what they say.
Yeah, you get first dibs. You get first dibs on it. But
the 5G thing in America is really I'm nervous for you guys about that. Like, really, really nervous about it.
yeah, a lot of people are concerned. There's not any stopping it though. It's part of the Internet of Things push and connecting literally every single machine that has a brain to every other machine that has a brain.
Yeah.
With really fast speeds.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because on one hand, it's like, wow, it's going to be so cool, man. I can download a 2.6 gigabyte movie in 2 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And then on the other hand, but it's going to fry your brain and your testicles and everything else. You'll never have kids again. Maybe
Right.
you'll go crazy and murder your wife or something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I accepted a long time ago that the realm is populated with poison everywhere. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you go, you're not going to go and hide and somehow escape it. So you just have to figure out how to do self work, how to protect yourself, how to not be an open orifice for every single idea and thought form and literature, everything. You have to learn how to defend yourself, otherwise you're not going to make it anyway.
I think that's yeah. I mean, I've been approaching this whole thing with a completely open mind and open eyes, open ears, listening, not listening to everything, hearing everything, right? Hearing everything that's coming my way, praying on it, asking for guidance on it, you know. And when things are really, when I hear something that's got truth in it, then I don't know, it resonates with me inside. And
Yeah.
there's been a couple of things that I've heard, and I'm not kidding, it's been profound, you know, and earth moving, like I've sat there and got choked up and burst out in exclamation, you know, tears rolling down my face, because what I've heard is like, yes, that is the truth. I know it's the truth. I can feel it right down into my soul. I can feel that's the truth.
Right.
There's nothing bad in it, you know.
Right.
It's what I think it's so infuriating that we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are, where we come from, and why we're here, and we should.
Well, we're coming back to it right now. That's part of all the energy that's going around right now is people are remembering things, people are getting insights, and even just like you're saying, those feelings of, you can't even describe it with words, but you're just getting like some sort of delivery of something, and it just makes you're just like, yeah, of course. Like you don't need to even talk about it or say anything. You just know that you received something true or pure or whatever. Whoops. We lost.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Oh, you're
like
back.
I said, my girlfriend is now, she's hassling me, so she's like phoning me. So
do you want to?
1 second.
You want to give her a call? Give her a call, and we can.
No. She needs to learn.
We can judge your phone
I
call.
told her, dude. I told her about this. I said to her, I am going to be on a call from 8 o'clock I'm going to be making a call to somebody in America.
Mm-hmm.
I told her all about it, and she just forgets.
Yeah. Ring her up and put her on, and we'll talk to her.
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Well, do you want to text her or call her, or do you want to take a break?
Man. Hey?
Do you want to take a minute to talk to her?
I've just messaged her. It's okay. No, I've just messaged her. She'll be okay. She's having a little freak out now. Sat in the staff room or something at work because I'm not messaging her back instantly. But my Facebook is open, so she can see I'm online. So she thinks I'm chatting to someone. And I'm going to show her this video once it gets published. I'm going to show her this video.
What's her name?
See, it's Beatrice.
Beatrice?
Beatrice. Yeah.
Hello, Beatrice.
She's a very beautiful Spanish woman. Who gets very jealous.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Women do. Yeah.
Yeah, women all get jealous, but that's because they've been. I mean, it's because of our society. Everyone is how they are because the societal programming. All the insecurities, all of that comes from the programming. Yeah,
it's interesting because I was talking to Jules Verne about it. Do you know? I don't know if you come across Jules Verne.
The sci-fi guy?
No, she's she just she's a viewer really. She's not a creator. So I just wondered if she's watched any of your videos. She's watched any of your videos.
Julie or Jules?
No, her name is Jules Verne.
I don't know.
Julsverne.
I just know there's a Jules Verne that writes a super popular science fiction writer in America.
Yeah, it's not that one.
Yeah, like 20 Leagues Under the Sea, or what, I don't even remember what he wrote, but he wrote a lot of stuff.
That would be cool, man. It's I was talking to her about it yesterday. We were saying about how each gender has been programmed for so long to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Women were programmed one way, and then they changed that programming. And then men were programmed the same way for a really long time. But in the noughties, they're trying to reprogram men now to not be men anymore.
Right. It's always been it doesn't matter what they're programmed to. It just matters that you throw another label and have them identify with it, then kill that label and make them feel heartbroken, move them onto something else. So then you're fragmented out into 1,000 different ways, and you're like, I don't know who I am anyway, and life sucks. Yeah. And that's kind of what happens with people who try to go along with all of the identifications that are offered out. Like, you need to be all of these things, and you can't be any of them,
Yeah, man. Sticking us all into little fucking brackets, little slots, everybody fighting amongst themselves.
And your little bucket isn't even a fun place to be in. Like, that thing that you're trying to defend is not even good, and it's not you in the first place. So why would you know what I'm saying?
I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's frustrating though, the different levels of consciousness, the people's awareness of what's going on. Those people that are awake, I know a guy that thinks he's awake because he shares stuff all the time on Facebook, on a page that he did on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And he was so people send it to him and then he shares it, right? So he thinks, yeah, he's awake, he knows all about everything. But when I actually talk to him, he's fast asleep. He doesn't know anything at all. He's not absorbing any of the information that he's getting. It's going past him. He's forwarding it on. It's going past him. But he's saying he's awake because, yeah, man. Yeah, you see my Facebook page, man. I share stuff all the time. Yeah. Okay. What did you share yesterday? What was that about? What specifically? What was that about that you shared yesterday? Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. AI, yes. It's going to take over the world. Yeah.
Yeah, there are those kind of people as well. I don't know. There's the whole spectrum. There's from this side all the way to this side, and then lots of other beings and entities I'm sure that we can't even see. So I just do my best not to try to get into like a hate mode or a resentment mode for whether you be an NPC or a whoever or whatever, because still these are still more labels and more judgment devices that, you know, it's good to be aware of the different levels of consciousness, but being that we've been so suppressed and repressed this whole time, I don't think it's the best idea to get too attached to any label, because it makes us separate out even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your motivation with your channel? Is to wake people up, or just to share what you're just?
No.
Is it like the same? Those that it resonates with, you're putting it out there, and if it resonates with people, then they join, and that, you know.
It's kind of like
with other people.
It's kind of like that, but I would say my main motivation is partially a healing thing. Like, everyone's super traumatized, and everyone's in self-doubt, and everyone's in insecurities. So what I present is kind of a healing thing for people, and at the same time, when I look out onto the world, I see mainly monotony and mundane bullshit, and I want to see creativity, and I want to see people excited to be alive, basically. So that's the second aspect of what I do. Is with what I do with my channel and with my life, I'm creative in everything that I do, and I hope that energy spreads to the people who watch.
Yeah,
just giving fresh ideas for how to spend your time while you're here, you know.
Do you say you're creative? What do you do? You do art, music? What's your creative outlet? Apart from, is it just the YouTube? You know,
I mean, I'm creative in how I am. I'm creative in conversation style. I'm creative in the various things that I put forth on the channel, and I also like. I mean, I've drawn pictures in the past. I'm artistic in that way.
Yeah, you don't have to be artistic to be creative.
Right,
in that sense, do you?
Right.
You don't have to be an artist like, you don't have to paint a picture or sing a song or something to be creative. Like you say, you can be creative in your conversation. You can be interesting, you know, to speak to, and just creative in how you present yourself.
Right. Because as I see it, a big problem that has come onto the people is that they're in projection mode, almost always like thinking about what's coming tomorrow, 10 minutes, next year, whatever. And they forget that in this moment that we're in, everything is literally right here, and you're neglecting the potential of it by always being out in the future or thinking about the past. Like, it's all right here always. And you're either doing something with it, or you're sitting in projection mode, and the body is basically sleeping here in the present moment, and, you know, your mind is off somewhere else.
I think it's Rainbow Lasagna that said, "Where attention goes, energy flows." Isn't it? It's in one of the videos.
That's an old saying, but she might have said it too. But yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's an old saying, but that's what I mean. She said it yesterday, and it reminded me of it. You know.
Right.
It's not something that I've heard a lot. I don't think I've not heard it said a lot in England. You know.
Yeah.
But as soon as I heard it, it made absolute sense. You know, where attention goes, energy flows. So if you've got everybody focusing on they've got everybody projecting and focusing on the wrong things, putting all their attention on the wrong things, not concentrating on that, you know, on the here and now in your own life.
Right.
What's going on right now in your own life, how things feel right now in your own life, not how you're worried about they might feel when these terrible things might happen in a year's time or whatever.
Yeah.
How you feel right now, because what I find a lot of the time is I'm watching stuff on YouTube. I'm watching all these things on YouTube. I've been researching really, really extensively for like 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching all this stuff, and I get to the end of, like, there was one point where I was doing like 12 to 16 hours a day just watching stuff.
There are many people who have been in the same boat for a long time. Like, I know what you're talking about.
You know, it's like I get because of my profession, I've got a lot of time on my hands, so you know, I could afford to get lost into down the rabbit holes.
Right.
But
right.
It's I've lost my train of thought.
You don't ever find a solution, no matter how much hours you spend researching things. It just it compounds the stresses and the worries.
It's constantly, this is what it might happen, this is what we think is going to happen, this is what looks like it's going to happen, and this is why we think it. But then you switch the computer off, you close the screen down, you know, and wash, splash some cold water in your face and walk outside into the sunshine.
Right.
And the world feels like a completely different place than what's been projected to you on the screen.
Right.
You know?
Right.
The people are stupid. They're zombies walking around. They're absolute imbeciles, half of them. But there's not all this. Certainly where I am, I'm not seeing any of the. I'm not seeing any of the crap that you guys are seeing in America with with the painting your skies every day, destroying your sunsets, and I know what it's like to be walking around and it's constantly grey. You look up in the sky and it's just a grey blanket. Yeah. It's not going to rain. It's not going to do anything. It's just shitty and grey and horrible. After a couple of days of that, you're walking around and your whole attitude and your whole demeanour is grey. Mm-hmm. That's why English people are so freaking boring. Why do you think English people are the way they are? It's because we've had 40 years or whatever of being grey already. Everything's grey already.
Well, you have alcohol, don't you?
Major.
Do you chug lots of alcohol?
Actually great. Say again.
You chug a lot of alcohol there?
I'm teetotal, mate. I haven't drunk a drop since 2013.
Oh, nice. That's good.
It's for professional reasons, for personal reasons, for health reasons, for
it's good.
Lots of reasons.
It's good not to drink.
Best thing I ever did.
I mean, the world can be, if you were a creative individual, so-called spirited individual, the world can be really depressing. So it's very easy to fall into, I need to drink, I need to smoke, I need to take pills, I need to blah, 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 whatever. We have so many medicines available to us. Even the internet itself is a medicine for this sort of angst that people get when they get depressed about everything.
Yeah, I mean, don't misunderstand me. I self-medicate with, I smoke weed and
everybody self-medicates to some extent.
Yeah, exactly. I think we all do it to some extent. I've settled with marijuana because of its recognised healing benefits. That's why I've stopped smoking THC. I smoke CBD now because it's actually got medicinal benefits. It's CBD that fights cancer, not THC. So
yeah,
it's
I mean, I have my vices as well. I've struggled with alcohol in the past. I do nicotine. Like, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I have these pouch tobacco things I've done forever, just because it doesn't even like make me feel any different, but it's like a routine thing that somehow makes the brain feel happy.
I think that's what a lot of it is for me as well. With the smoking is routine. Right.
There is comfort in routine, even though I don't like routine. There's some aspect of the mind that wants it.
I think we are creatures of routine, to be honest. I think we need, as human beings, we need some level of routine, even if it's just eat breakfast, eat lunch, eat dinner.
Yeah, there have to be some routines. Like, you can do whatever you want in between, but you have to have just like markers that kind of set your mind. Like, okay, this is here now. I reorient and go out and do something new again.
I mean, it said it says in the Bible that that's why the stars were put there, so that we could set the times and the seasons, and those are routines. Everything, any cyclical kind of program is a routine, isn't it?
Right.
If it's cyclical, it's going round routinely in cycles.
Yeah, there is benefit.
Is that right? Am I making sense?
No, routines are good. I've even made videos in the past where I said I'm incapable of repetition, but that's not exactly true. It's more like nothing actually repeats itself exactly. Like we have no true pure replication. We do similar things every day, not the same exact thing.
Yeah. It's like if you have a really great holiday, and the next year you want to go back and have exactly the same great holiday again. You go to the same place at the same time, stay in the same hotel, and even travel with the same people on the same time, flight on the same day, and everything's exactly the same, except when you get there, it's not.
Yeah.
Something's different. It's missing an aspect that was there before.
That's something that always got to me is when I would hang out with people that wanted to do holidays exactly the same. And, you know, NPC people or whatever you want to call them, they do, like the thought patterns are exactly the same. And it numbs my mind up and I can barely even like function anymore because like nothing's happening. I have to be stimulated somehow, like in conversation or whatever. And if it's just repeating the same old bullshit, like I can't handle that for longer than like a minute. I tune out.
Yeah, man. When was the last time you went on holiday?
Holiday? I hung out with a family for Christmas.
Would you class that as a holiday though?
Yeah, I mean it's a holiday.
Right.
It's not the way my family does it is different. The way my family does it, we even recently did this thing where it's like if you don't want to give someone gifts, don't give them gifts, and we won't care or judge you or anything. Like we just see them as a time to get together and hang out because we don't see each other too often.
How did you approach Christmas?
What do you mean?
What are your thoughts on Christmas?
As far as a religion, it has been used to manipulate in a very big way. It also is a symbol of hope and comfort for many thousands of millions of people, and of security, and of it's both. Like it has both in it, and I see and appreciate the good parts, and I don't like the bad parts. But as far as a holiday, I have no problem getting together with family and friends and just hanging out during a holiday. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah, you don't have to be stood there saying, "Yeah, we're doing this in memory of Jesus who was born on this day."
Right.
Right.
I mean, the companies have commercialized it so much anyway. People, for the most part, don't even think too much about Jesus or what the message was supposed to be. Or it's like, oh, I need to buy the next iPad or next toy or whatever.
Well, it's more the television that pushes it. I think now. You look at all the cartoons and all the programs when Christmas comes around, they're all doing a Christmas theme.
Yeah. They start up like immediately after Halloween with the commercials and the ads.
Yeah.
And that's 2 months prior.
Has Thanksgiving changed? When's Thanksgiving for you? Because I swear it used to be the 30th, 31st of November.
It was always, for me, it was always 21st, 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around there. I think. I don't even know for sure. I could be misremembering. I don't pay too much attention.
I mean, I might be misremembering it. It's just I went out to the States in 1997.
I can look it up.
And I think I went out on the 31st of November, sorry. And I just missed.
Yeah, the 23rd. That was this year. It was on the 23rd.
Yeah. Is it different every year? Is it like Easter when it's, slightly different?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think only Christmas falls on like the same exact day of the month every year.
Yeah.
But my approach to things is like you said, you're open-minded. I'm open-minded, perhaps even to a fault, as far as if something comes in, I will look at it, regardless of what people say about it, because people are always putting their subjective interpretation, and they try to shovel you their idea. And you can. I was talking about this with Christian yesterday. You can take a thought form or a belief or any idea and discard it just because your mind finds one issue with it, when it might have lots of good things, or you could meet someone new, or you could have a new experience or something, and your mind says, no, I don't like this one thing, so I'm going to throw the whole thing out the window.
Yeah.
So I try to not do that, and even if I have that initial kind of thing that says, oh, this feels a little weird, or this person is a little bit off, I don't just throw them out. You have to sit with that feeling and then allow that to pass, and then you can see what that might actually be something good in there for you.
I like that. I like that sort of approach, that attitude towards it, because I think there are things messing around with us that we can't see.
Yeah,
that are influencing us all the time.
Very much so.
Somebody could sit down with you, and they could have an entity with them or something, you know, that confuses the situation, when in actual fact that person has got something good to say to you, you know.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. It's I walk around. Basically, I see everybody, every single person, even me, has got these things hovering around us. Some of them got actually latched onto us. Some of them just got them hovering around, hovering near us. You know, those that are aware or have some form of protection from God. You know, that they can't attach so easily, perhaps. But I'm just doing some videos about it now because I've had more and more experiences where it's been so obvious. Like you can see in somebody's face, or by the way that their demeanor changes, or you know, when something's been manipulated in their mind and they've thought something that it didn't come from them. It didn't come from them.
Right.
It was something got jabbed into their head, and they'll sit there and they start to think about it, you know, and then their demeanor changes slightly, and they'll start to get angry or aggressive or just, you know, really difficult.
Right.
Because whatever thought it is, or whatever feeling that's been put inside them, they're allowed, because they're thinking, oh, what's this? I'm feeling this. This is some sort of intuition, or, you know, they think thoughts come from themselves. They think they've thought that thought. For some reason, their subconscious has put that thought into their minds. There must be a reason for it, you know?
Yeah.
That's why they'll then dwell on it. And I see it happening all the time.
I find personally with myself, if I get a thought that's accompanied by a bad feeling, like a dark feeling, a heavy feeling, and there's not any external reason for it, like a dog isn't biting my ankle or I'm not running away from something, then I figure that thing is not necessarily has my best health in mind, and maybe it's something that I don't need to be experiencing. So if I'll sit there and focus and meditate and allow the feeling to remain, then allow it to pass away. And if I compare how I feel after it's gone versus how I feel when I'm feeling heavy, it's like night and day. And when I'm feeling heavy, the whole world is dark. Like my projections, my future, my past, literally everything becomes tainted and colored in that one ugly color. When once it's gone, the whole world becomes normal again. It's like, oh, you know, it's not bad or good. It's just what it is. Like it's just a regular world.
Yeah. It's like you're passing through a different dimension for a moment or something, or like you slipped into another reality where everything is really dark.
And if you notice, like if you look around you at what's happening, everything is happening exactly the same. It's just your projections have changed, and now your world, as you know, forward and backward in time, has become all ugly and dark, and you feel depressed in the present moment. Even though if you look outside and see, I'm not in a war, like nobody's attacking my physical body, but for some reason I feel absolutely like shit, and I don't know why.
I've got a hypothesis forming about, it's been gradually growing since I don't know when, but about realities. You know, the LHC and what they're doing, how they're linking. Well, a lot of people are linking the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, Geneva. Right. They're linking that to the Mandela effect and the quantum computers and everything, saying, okay, so maybe they're merging timelines, or they're merging universes or whatever, dimensions or whatever. And I thought to myself, well, one of the problems I've always had, the difficulty I've always, in my mind has been, if we've all got free will, how can anybody be predestined to do anything? Because I believe in destiny as well. I believe in free will and I believe in destiny. I believe that I was meant to be here where I am right now. I believe I was meant to come here.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily mean that was written in stone from the day I was born. It was perhaps something that got written in stone after a decision I made 10 years ago or something. I don't know. But something brought me here. Destiny brought me here. It wasn't me. It wasn't my thought. It wasn't my wish. Where I've ended up on this island in Tenerife was completely, it was totally unplanned. I was on the streets in Malaga.
Right.
I was living on the street in Malaga. I had my guitar. I had a spare pair of jeans, a spare pair of boxer shorts, a spare shirt, and my phone and my guitar. That was it. And I got a phone call out of nowhere, out of the blue, from a friend that I had from years before, and he was here, and he said, "Oh mate, I heard about what's going on. Do you want to? I'll fly you over here. We'll sort you out. Get your life sorted out." Like, wow, yeah, cool, okay. So something brought me here, but all the time I've had free will, and I've made the worst decisions ever. And I've ended up taking my life all over this really crappy ride, really stupid things, and I've suffered some of the worst consequences because of the things that I've done. But it's all in my reality, right?
Yeah.
This is all in my movie that I'm filming here behind my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I can only have I can have empathy. I can empathise with people, and I can try to see things from other people's perspective. And the better I know that person, the much easier it is to see from their perspective.
Right.
So, like, I can see your world from your perspective, but only from what I know of you. So I know you're an Uber driver, and you're 32, and you're in America, and you've been to San Francisco now and again, and you're on the internet and that. But I don't know enough about you to be able to see what your reality is like.
Right.
So we live in two completely different realities, right? Your reality and my reality, in the same universe, in the same matrix, right? Your free will has taken you where you are. Mine's taken me where I am. And the possibilities of the future for both of us are endless and branch off in so many different directions,
right,
depending on the decisions we make from now and in the future.
Right.
So right now, me and you are talking, and our realities of. Do you remember? What was that film with the rabbit?
Alice in Wonderland?
No. It was a recent film with the kiddie that gets killed in the car crash.
I haven't watched any recent movies. I don't know.
Oh man. Anyway, he can see these things coming out of people and going ahead of them, like these sort of snake things coming out and going ahead of them.
Yeah.
Right, as they're walking, and that's their destiny.
That was an old movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago or something.
I know what movie you're talking about.
It was brilliant. The guy that was in it was like his debut performance, and it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I forget what it's called.
But it had the theme tune in it, Mad World. It's a very, very mad world.
Gary Jules?
Yeah, Gary Jules, Mad World.
Yeah.
Man. Anyway, so right now we're talking, and our realities are kind of hovering next to each other, flying next to each other.
No, they're convergent. They're the same. Like when you're talking with somebody, it's the same reality. I don't really buy into this. I'm only behind my eyes, and it's just me, and nobody sees my little subjective. I don't really buy into that.
No, I don't think it's. No, it's not like that. It's like
if you think about it, like an easier way to understand from my perspective is like when you're having a conversation with somebody, if you're connected, like if you're really getting along, it's like it's thoughts in a big brain. So like my thought is talking to your thought, and then in that way, it doesn't seem so much like, oh, I'm separate, and he can't know my pain or whatever, because when you're actually really communicating, you're not just throwing words, and just symbols, and you're actually getting like an energetic communication, then you're literally sharing in that person's current present. It's not even like the separation has disappeared.
Yeah.
In that moment.
But with so many people just talk at each other.
I know. I know.
And they're just sat there waiting for the next opportunity to say their bit.
Right.
They don't listen to what's being said to them, and they're just waiting for the next opportunity to say the next bit, And then they get pissed off when the conversation's moved on and what they wanted to say doesn't have any relevance, but they'll say it anyway,
Yeah.
Because that's what they were going to say next. I do agree with you, man. I didn't mean like our two realities were completely separate. When we're talking now, and so our realities have merged. While we're talking, while we go off into our separate worlds, they're going to separate again.
But I mean, I know what you're feeling. I know that's like what we've been brought up with, the separation. So like people that are kind of aware and awake are all isolated out all over the world, and they're not really next to each other, and everyone feels like, oh, my family, I can't talk to them, I can't talk to my friends, nobody listens to me, and all this. And that is true. And everyone has been traumatized. Like you said, everyone has been suffering. Everyone has been through lots of pain, and everyone has been through isolation and all this. I'm aware of that. But at the same time, there's nothing stopping us from connecting and contacting and having conversation from here onward through text or through Discord or through whatever. There's nothing stopping anybody on the planet from talking to each other except for our own selves.
Maintaining that contact.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like a friendship, isn't it? You have to maintain a friendship. Any sort of relationship, if you're going to retain a connection to somebody, you have to maintain that connection.
Yeah, you gotta put effort into it. If you don't put effort into it, it dies like a plant that you don't water.
Yeah, because if you look at, it's like my best friend in the world. He's my best friend in the world because I've known him since I was 3 years old, so I've known him for 37 years, But I haven't been around him since he was 21, since we were 21, and he moved to Australia. So that was 19 years ago, man. I haven't seen him for 19 years, but he's still my best friend, and we still have a connection because of, our childhood, but our reality is completely different.
Right.
Totally different. He's living the life on the Gold Coast, surfing up and down the Gold Coast, married to some rich woman's magazine.
He's a gold digger?
Or something. I don't know. He's not a gold digger, man. He's just a lucky son. He just falls on his feet, always. Always falls on his feet.
Are you in contact with him at all? Like currently?
I haven't been in contact with him since... oh God, when was the last time? It was on Facebook. I don't know, a year or two ago, but he's off Facebook now. And I didn't get any of his details before he just disappeared on Facebook.
You don't have his phone number or email?
I can get hold of him, right? I'm still in contact with his sister and stuff. So
yeah,
it's but we didn't talk all the time. It wasn't like we chatted all the time. And,
yeah, but that's something else that we forget is us as individuals. We have this idea that like, oh, I can't. We just forget even that we can talk to people. Like right now, you could send him a message and reestablish contact with no issues whatsoever. Since you forget that you're even able to do that, or else your brain doesn't tell you to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from contacting him.
Well, no, there is me.
Well, yeah. Aside from you, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I stop myself subconsciously and consciously. I think oh, well, you know, it's going to be a nightmare getting hold of Debbie and then finding out, I'll do it tomorrow. You know, I'll do it tomorrow.
That's
I'll do it next
that
week.
you're doing it right now. That's the projection thing. You're doing that. You're creating a future that doesn't exist in order to escape. In order to escape talking to your friend, because you don't know that that's going to happen.
You know, man. I know. And but the thing is, I'm still getting to grips with just how much power we have, how much control we actually have over our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's the biggest. That's the kick right there. I think that we actually do have complete, total control over our lives.
Yeah, that's what people are actually afraid of, in my opinion. They're not afraid of the government. They're not afraid of these outside entities. They're not afraid of parasites eating their bad energies. They're afraid that they themselves actually have power to influence their own lives and go out and do something different. They're afraid of that because it's too much sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
That's the most scary feeling, is that you actually are in charge of your life and you are free to do what you do during the day and nobody's telling you what to do.
Yeah, but I think the fear is only there because if the people are given control, they still feel like they don't have control. That's why they're scared. If they're told, right, you are responsible, you're control entirely of your life, but they don't know how to get what they need. You know, they don't know that it's all about focus and thought and intent and actions and everything. Just knowing that what you're going to do or what you're doing is going to bring what you're working towards, and then it happens. And people put obstacles, big old boulders, in the way of themselves. Mm-hmm. I can't do that because of this, and I can't do that because of this. All the time, constantly putting barriers in front of themselves. I've got a friend here. He's in a really, really depressive state, and he's sucking the energy out of the room all the time, you know. And I actually had a go at him today, and he stormed off. And I just said, look, just snap out of it, mate. Seriously, just go snap out of it.
There you go.
The way you are now, it makes you really uncomfortable to be around. And I want to sit here and chat with you, and you know, and shoot the breeze. But you're sat there with that expression on your face, and you look like you could break granite, you know, between your fists. So I don't really want to be around you at the moment. Instead of snapping out of it and saying, "Shit, yeah, you're right, mate. You know what? I'm sorry. I've got a lot of stuff on my mind at the moment, but right now, look, fuck it. Let's put it to one side. Mm-hmm. Sit here and shoot the breeze. Just chill out and forget it, you know."
Yeah.
He's focusing on it all the time, and so it's just making his world darker and darker. Right. He's not coming up with any solutions. He's not coming up with any. He can't see any way out of where he is.
Right.
And he's constantly putting barriers up. When I say to him, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? He said, well, yeah, but I can't do that because of it. I can't do that because of it. No, I said, well, what? Look, mate, go out and there's got to be some manual work out there that I can't do that because of my back. I put my back out 10 years ago. 10 years ago, mate. You put your back out 10 years ago. Oh my God, I put my back out 5 times in the last 5 years. But I'll still go out and, you know, I'll go and try and do some labour if that's all there is. That's the only way I can earn any money, is to go and split some logs or something like that. I'll go and do it till my back hurts, you know?
Right.
Don't sit there just complaining and moaning and say, oh, nothing's working, nothing happens. It's because you're not trying. You're not trying. You're sitting there moaning and dwelling on the fact that you're depressed and your ex-girlfriend's taking the kids away, and they're not even your kids, mate, you know? Let it all go and try and concentrate on a better future. Concentrate on, look at what you've got, be happy with what you've got, because you're not on the street, You live with you've got your mum and your brother and that. They're looking after you. They're taking care of you. Money's not a massive problem at the moment because you're getting fed. You've got somewhere to live. You've got a car you're driving. Why is the world so black for you? And he's going, oh, I'm going to end up on the streets. I'm going to be on the streets in a couple of weeks. Well, so? He said, oh, mate, if that happens, I'm just going to kill myself. And I did exactly that. I laughed at him. I went, sorry, mate, what? Did you just say that? If you end up on the street, you're going to kill yourself. What kind of pussy are you? Seriously. You're going to kill yourself if you end up on the street. Mate, I've been homeless 4 different times, more than 4 times now, but 4 different countries. I've been on the street in 4 different countries. Because it happens when you're a musician and you can't get the work and whatever. I'm dedicated to my passion, my craft. I'm not taking another shitty job. So if it means that I end up on the street, then I've ended up on the street. And I always know it's going to get better. I always know that something's going to change. All I've got to do is keep marching towards it. Right. I know what the change is going to be, but something's going to change because it always does.
It's cyclical. This thing that your friend's in is his depression compounds his future's depression, and his projection into the future brings him toward homelessness, and then that brings him toward I'm going to shoot myself. It compounds itself. So sometimes you need actual outside help or intervention. But even then, you're more of a motivation for him to change a little bit, and he's still saying no, that's nonsense.
I mean, because it's not just me. I'm really lucky. I'm really fortunate here. There's a couple of other people here that are awake. So I can sit here and talk to them about things. And there's one guy that I woke up. I've only woken him up to sort of one aspect of what's going on. He's still not really ready to accept everything, But he's opened his eyes to that at least, and it's a pretty big thing that he's opened his eyes to. I think it's the biggest one. I don't know what your position about flat Earth is.
My position on flat Earth is that it's there. I think it's there. It is there as a wake up to some individuals, but it's a wake up to the quantum possibility of your life, as far as in terms of how you see things. It's not there to get you to say it's a globe and here are the facts and the reasons, or it's a flat plane and here are the facts and the reasons, or it's a 2D infinitely thin reality that our eyes project into third-dimensional appearance. It's not there, in my opinion, to get you to condense it down into a fact or fixed reality. It's not there for that. It's there to help you remember that you're sitting in a quantum soup at all moments in your life, and you are always free. You're always free to create in your life. That's what we forgot. We forgot that we're always free to create in every moment. And I think that's the real reason for why Flat Earth was released. It's released as a trigger to help the creatives remember what they're supposed to be doing here.
So what are your... this is getting louder. Excuse me a second.
Washington, D.C. keeps calling me. I wonder if I should answer.
So shit that a little bit. Can you hear me all right? Is that music too loud?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's fine.
Yeah, all right. So, what's your opinion about the curvature and the lack of any? There's not a single spot on Earth where they should be able to. You should be able to visibly see the curvature, see the effect on the visible horizon, but you can't. Like across Lake Michigan, across the Gulf of Mexico, there's another one, I can't remember where it is, where you can see the archway from like 40 miles away, and the arch is only 40 feet high. So if the Earth was curved, there's absolutely no possible physical way at all that you would be able to see that arch, but you can from 40 miles away. So those things kind of fly right in the face of, the Earth drops away 8 inches for every mile squared, or every mile cubed, or whatever it is. It's maybe we're not living on a flat, infinite plane, or whatever it is that flat earthers are trying to say. But they absolutely, definitely, 100%, they are lying to us. They're lying to us about space. They're lying to us about the circumference of this planet, about the position of the continents, the size of the continents, the actual size of Russia, and the size of Russia on the map. You know, they're two completely different things. The size of China and the size of China on the map. The actual real size of China compared to the actual size of China on the map. You know, so there's not one single real, authentic, real photograph, natural photograph taken from space of the planet, of our planet, of the moon, of anything. Every single photograph that we see is a composite or computer generated. It's an impression taken from numbers and figures and data that they say they've retrieved, and then they put together this wonderful CGI artwork to display it. All these Hubble telescope photographs, they're not photographs. Not one of them is a photograph. They're a CGI image, a representation of the data that's come back. So if they're lying to us so much for so long about everything, right? What's going on? Why are they lying to us?
Why?
Oh, there it is. I see my mates sat here, right? And they've got their fucking ears wiggling to these boys here. Sorry. They all think I'm mad.
Oh, these guys are listening in?
These guys are listening in. They all think I'm completely mad, mate. They're come sat next to me because they're not. I said, I'm talking to someone.
That's good. We have a bigger audience. Sure.
They're cool, man. Who's this? This is Gary Warmadam. How do you pronounce your name?
Exactly how it sounds.
Warmadam.
Yeah.
Warmadam.
Yeah.
Warmadam. Yeah, Gary Warmadam. From where are you?
Where?
Where are you? Outside San Francisco?
Fresno, California.
Fresno. Got no idea what that is, really.
It's if you take California and turn it into a pinwheel, Fresno is the pin. It's the direct center of the state.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So how far from Orange County is that?
Orange County is near LA, so we're probably 3.5 hours north, 4 hours north of that.
So when you were in San Francisco the other day, or you said you were going to San Francisco?
I drive to San Francisco to work, to drive Uber, and then I come back.
How long does that take you to get there?
3.5 hours.
Every day?
No. I go and I stay for 3-4 days. Yeah. It's just work. Just like you do music to try to make money, I do Uber to make money, and I do my creative stuff on the side. I would prefer to be not doing that, but at the current time, it's necessary. So I'll be doing that as long as I have to.
Dude, I think it's brilliant, man. I used to want to be a taxi driver when I was a kid because I loved driving the car so much. Love driving. It's all right, but it's not good for my body to be sitting down for 10, 12 hours a day. It's not very healthy. But it works. It works all right. I'd use it as an opportunity to mess around a lot. Yeah. Be a different character every time somebody gets in the car. Be someone else. Yeah, right. I've thought about that, but
I've never been good at playing roles, so I have played around a little bit, but
Yeah.
most of them are the NPCs anyway, so they don't say anything, and it's not interesting if they do say something. So
Yeah.
it's just money. It's just money for me.
Needs must, man.
Yeah.
Needs must. So what do you think's going to happen this year? In America, I mean.
I think people are going to say a lot of things on the internet, and most likely externally, hardly anything will happen. But it's not just that. I feel like for things to manifest into the physical, it requires tremendous amount of energy. And if you buy into the notion that there are entities that don't have the creative capacity and they have to basically herd the humans into creating something for them, then it makes it even that much more difficult if there aren't very many creatively capacitive humans in the first place. So I don't think it's as easy. It's just hard for something big to manifest in the external, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like everybody's being just kept in a perpetual state of fear.
Yeah.
And it's only escalating because it's just natural that it escalates because, you know, you can only be scared of something for so long, can't you? So it has to keep escalating to be worse than the last thing to make sure it keeps everybody scared. I just wonder how far that's going to go. You know, this whole drain in the swamp thing, right, with Trump.
Yeah.
I think he's I've swung back and forth about Trump. At first, when he first announced he was running for president, I said to everybody, if this guy becomes president, that's absolute 100% confirmation that we're living in the Matrix, right? And somebody's hijacked the system because how on earth? Oh, I managed to catch my language then.
Yeah, that was good.
How on earth did Donald Trump become president of the United States of America?
I'm happy overall.
Dude, then you watch Back to the Future 2 and it was 1988. And there he is. There he is saying it on the screen in Back to the Future 2. I'm going to destroy your country. I don't give a toss about you. I don't get loads of money.
Donald Trump was on there?
For president.
Are you saying Donald Trump was in there?
Sorry?
Are you saying Donald Trump was on Back to the Future?
Have you not seen that in Back to the Future 2?
I have seen the movie, but I forget. Like, I forget all the movies I watch.
Okay. It's sorry. Yeah, it's when Marty goes into Cliff Towers, right, into the casino, and he looks up on the screen. If you search this on YouTube, if anybody searches it now,
the disclosure thing where you flip the picture upside down and is that what you're talking about? No,
it's when that's the Future 2. Marty walks into the casino, up on the screen, Trump was on the screen, right? But
there's that movie predicted the 9/11 thing and all of every event has always been predicted in pop culture beforehand. I think
it was. The thing is, like, when you look at it, when you search it on YouTube now, right, they've doctored it, and it's new footage of Trump. It's recent footage of Trump that's been put on the TV screen, right? Which is it annoys me because now it looks fake. But I remember the original, and I saw a clip of the original earlier this year, the original version of it, and it is Trump.
Really?
Right? It's Trump.
You're saying they doctored it to try to make it look like it wasn't there in the first place, to cast doubt and whatnot?
I'm saying it was there originally, and now they've doctored in recent footage of him into the YouTube clips, right? So now it's fake because what they're showing is fake. It wasn't those clips,
right?
But I remember, I saw it. I've watched that film loads, and I remember seeing earlier this year earlier last year, beginning of 2017, somebody showed it, and it had it there. It was older footage of him, and it was, I can't remember where it was. It was in a rally or something, and he was saying, "I've got loads of money. I don't care. I'm just going to destroy this. It's going to be my personal piggy bank. Basically, I'm going to destroy this country." That something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you search it, it's only got the recent footage, the from last year or from 2016. So now it really is fake, and people can say, "No, that's not fake. That's not real. That wasn't it." No, it wasn't right. But the original clip of it was there. So they were saying it. Yeah, in 1988, they were saying it.
That Trump was going to be president?
Before The Simpsons said it.
Ah.
No, that Trump was going to run for president.
Oh, not that he was going to run. Not that he was going to
be not that he was going to be president. That he was going to run for president.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it is. I feel like the larger show is scripted, but I feel like the individual actors, and as well you and I, as far as free will is concerned, we do have a free will to make decisions and choices and not follow programs if we wish. And I think even these guys, Trump, if he is like a human and not some completely controlled thing, I feel that even in that position, he would be able to have free will and make his own decisions to the extent that he is allowed,
Do you think it was his idea?
What?
To run for president?
He seems completely fake to me as far as whether he's like a real person or not. I don't really know. I don't go into politics that much because I don't see very many like real people there that I can actually be interested by or feel like they care about the people. I just basically hear snippets of what he's doing based off of Facebook feed or people tell me things and stuff like that. But I don't really follow it that closely.
Yeah, I saw a lot of stuff on YouTube saying that he'd been selected by the military intelligence, and it was all a big. The whole plan had been basically laid out before he even stepped up to the table and put his name down in the ballot box.
Yeah.
They worked out what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. This draining the swamp and taking out all the corrupt Democrats and everywhere, the whole of it, the FBI, the CIA, everything. None of it was his idea. It's all military intelligence.
I mean, I'd say it's quite possible. I don't think that too many of the individuals in top political positions have much individual autonomy as far as their own personal viewpoints. I feel like the system is doing what the system does, and it needs a certain specific type of character to fill that role, and whoever will best fill that role will fill that role. As far as whether that person has any autonomy, I have no idea. It doesn't seem like it, but I don't really know.
I don't know. I was worried by him becoming president, and I got excited and thought, yeah, man, he seems to be really doing.
I would take him over Clinton any day of the week.
You'd say that again? You'd take him?
Over Hillary.
Oh, God.
I think, if I'm going to talk politics, that would be the extent of my distaste for Hillary just when I see her do anything or talk about anything is so big that it's like, Trump, he might be orange and weird and talk about walls all day, but at least, he has some sort of humanity inside. You can tell, you can feel there's something there, at least a little bit. Like with Hillary, it's just like living dead.
She's something else, man. Seriously, she's something else.
Yeah.
She's the living embodiment of sociopath. She's a sociopath. She's a pathological, psychological, psychopathical blooming. She's all of them. She's absolutely everything.
Yeah, she's all of them wrapped up into one. Hey, Richard, we're kind of coming up on my limit. I don't usually go longer than an hour and a half, and I have.
Hey, listen, dude. I was just going to say to you, I've got 5% on my phone, so
yeah,
I'm going to have to wrap up now because my earphones. Right, it's an iPhone 7, and I can either have power or earphones. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to power up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. It's been interesting, and stay in contact. I usually have people on multiple times if it went well, and I'd like to have you back on at some point and play some music and just stay connected.
Yeah, and maybe we could have a specific topic next time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't usually do topics, but we can try a specific topic. I do whatever. Like, it doesn't matter.
All right, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice one, dude. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Peace.
Much love, dude. Peace.
Bye.